Our next speaker is the first Republican candidate that's going to speak tonight, and it's Larry Solak. Larry, come on up. Let's have a round of applause for Larry.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight. It's nice to see a lot of people show up for these events. My name's Larry Solak. For those of you who don't know me, I've been a Portage County resident since 1946. My wife Joanna and I have 3 boys, and we enjoy Portage County. I've grown up here, and I like it, and I plan on spending the rest of my life here. Graduated from Crestwood High School in 1961. 1970, I started an automotive machine shop, and been self-employed ever since then. In the late 70s, got involved in amateur radio and some other things. Worked in public service, enjoyed that. Went on to get involved in a lot of other things here in the county. In 1985, I took on the responsibility of coordinating emergency communications for the ARRL for the state of Ohio. One of the things that we'd had here in the county was kind of a lack of emergency response, and a group of us had worked hard for a long period of time, and finally in 1988 they came to fruition, and they put the program back together. Here it was disaster services at the time, it's now emergency management. The state also came up with a requirement in 1988 that they have a local emergency planning committee, and since a bunch of us were vocal about what was going on as far as emergencies and that type of thing, I was also appointed to that. From 1988 until 2006, I've served on the local emergency planning committee, and from 1988 until 2009, I served on the EMA advisory board. Other things that I've done here in the county, I've served on the Portage County Airport Board, and I've also was elected in 2001 as a trustee in Shadersville Township. I served 2 terms there. I also served 2 terms as president of the Portage County Township Association. One of the reasons for my involvement was because I love the county, I love the people, and I like to see things run properly. One of the reasons I got involved in a lot of these things was because I had a habit of complaining sometimes, and somebody told me, he says, well, if you're going to complain, do something about it. So I did. I devoted a lot of time and a lot of effort to these different agencies and different positions that I've held. I enjoyed it. But it gave me an opportunity to be a watchdog and also to try to keep some of these things under control. When I was elected as a township trustee, one of the things that happened, one of the first things you do after you get sworn in, you go into your first meeting, it's usually an organizational meeting, and it wasn't too difficult. The last thing that they always do is somebody makes a motion to pay the bills, and somebody drags out a great big pile of checks, and everybody gets to get writer's cramp. When I started signing checks, the thing that all of a sudden it hit me was, it was like, this isn't my money, this is everybody else's money. And this is one of the things that, everybody needs to realize, government doesn't spend their money, they spend yours. And, it's not only tax money, there's a lot of other things. There's fees, there's all kinds of ways that they've got to collecting money from people, or the cost of government. And the bad thing that's happened is the cost of government over the last several years has increased dramatically. In 1970, there's a day called Freedom Day. In 1970, it was in May. This is the day when you quit paying the cost of government, and you start paying or collecting the money that you're actually making for your own good. Last year, Freedom Day was in late August, which meant that you worked over a half a year to support government entities in one way or another. It could have been anything from driver's license fees, health department fees. There's all kinds of taxes and all kinds of fees out there. The cost of government has been ballooning. And this is one of the things that has concerned me. The different agencies that I worked with, one of the things we always strive to do is maintain a balanced budget, have a healthy carryover, and be in a situation where we did not have to worry about money. The county government, if you pay any attention to it, it's always in a financial crunch of one kind or another. And just like they're talking about, there's a possibility of selling the money from the nursing home and possibly the sale of the hospital. You know, monies like that, we need to pay our debt level down, put the county in a better position, and have more money for a carryover, more money to operate on. And one of the things that I would like to see is a rainy day fund established so that when things get tough, we've got money to fall back on. If you go on a vacation, one of the problems that can happen, you blow a tire, what happens? All of a sudden your vacation budget gets affected. The same thing can happen to government. Or you run into a financial downturn, which can happen because of the economy, and all of a sudden you're short of money and you can't carry on the way you're supposed to. So the first thing everybody does is start trying to cut budgets. With a good carryover and a rainy day fund established, some of this could be smoothed out. Myself, like I said, I've lived here a long time. I enjoy the county. I like it. And I've dedicated a lot of time for it. I've got experience with local government. I've got experience working with a lot of these people. I know how it works. I've seen local government expand and expand and expand. The ballooning effect has to be stopped. I'm running for commissioner because I want to see some things here changed. I'd like to see government quit becoming larger and larger and costing people more and more money. The money belongs to the people. It needs to stay with the people. The control of government belongs to the people. When the Constitution was written, the Constitution was not written to provide the government with a lot of power. It was written to protect people from the government. And that's what it was supposed to do. When President Kennedy was elected, he said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. That's something we need to get back to. We need to get back to good old-fashioned values. We need to get back to America being what it was. When I was a youngster, people worked at the worst, my throat's getting dry, the worst at mills in Ravenna. We had oak rubber, we had a lot of things like that. Today, Goodyear's still in Akron. The offices are. They make tires there? No. Do we make tires in Ravenna? No. Do we make balloons in Ravenna? No. All of these jobs have gone. We need economic development. We need jobs here. We need to bring these kind of things back. A lot of things in this country are messed up, fixed. They need fixed. We have a problem with our educational system. We're not training people for the jobs that we need that are going to be coming in. We need to go back to these things. I know a couple of companies right now that are working, they're building a new manufacturing facility. Between having to fight with the EPA and looking for qualified people to work it, they've got a problem. And this is the kind of thing that I'd like to see come to an end. As far as absolute specifics, one of the worst things when you walk into an office is your hands are tied by a lot of things that the government has already put in place. I promise you that as a commissioner, I would work, bring economic development, establish a rainy day fund, put this county in a better financial position and in a less dependent situation as far as you're concerned so that you'll have more money for yourselves. Thank you.